Hey guys, so a lot of you wanted me to make more patent attorney videos and I decided, hey, 2019 is going to happen soon. Let me give you my experience. I actually got a recent phone call from a guy in Victoria, Texas, and he was creating a device that uses magnetic poles, so it's kind of interesting to get into patents again. But to give you a little bit of background, I went to NYU, I studied biology, and as any good patent lawyer knows, so this is my patent thingamajig, 64. I studied biology at NYU. I then applied to go to law school, took my LSATs. I could have gone to medical school, but for whatever reason I chose to go to law school. My dad, growing up, he was a patent attorney, and I grew up in a family where patents were really important. My sister applied for her first patent application when she was 17 or 18, and that was very unique. Her application was for a heating device, right? A heating device using the warm shower water to heat other devices in the home. So patent attorneys it's always been in my blood. When I was 18, I went to China to go to Beijing and Shanghai to work at the largest Chinese IP law firm. From 18 until law school, pretty much. I went to William & Mary Law School. I worked there, and it was really good. Summers, I used to live in Queens, take the subway to work, One Penn Plaza, work my day, and then come back. And that was my first real job, was working at a patent law office. So back to being a patent attorney. So I'm a patent attorney. That means I passed my patent bar exam, and unlike most patent attorneys, I took it before going to law school. I took it when I was 21. I didn't really study for it, and I passed. And the beauty of this was after you're done taking the test, they enter stuff, and then they tell you right there, within 5 minutes of leaving the testing or having taken the test and clicking the finish button, they tell you in 5 minutes, did you pass or did you not pass? And then they give you this certificate a little later. So I was 21, I was already a patent agent. I already had 3 years experience working at a very large law firm in New York City, One Penn Plaza. It was a beautiful building. Of course, you would expect a law firm to be in a very beautiful building. And down beneath, I could see all Madison Square Garden. So my building, where I was, I could see Madison Square Garden. I would walk by it every day. It was unreal when I think about it today. So expectation versus reality. I loved my first job as a patent attorney, but then I went to law school, or a patent agent. Then I went to law school. I became a patent attorney. I did an internship my 2L year at a very small Richmond, Virginia, not Texas. I was going to William & Mary Law at the time. And I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy my summer in Richmond. It was really good. I don't have any complaints there. I had a great time. When I went to Houston, one of the options I looked at was going to become a patent attorney. One of the places that I went to was Dallas, and the person opened his own law firm. It was called the Everett Law Firm, and the guy's last name is obviously Everett. He worked as counsel for Nokia. And his strategy was to get all the Nokia patents, which he knew would be valuable, and essentially sue people under it. So I talked to him for a very long time. I went to Dallas to visit, and it was fascinating in terms of what his business model was. It wasn't for me. I didn't want to become a patent troll. Although it was very lucrative, like the offer was pretty lucrative, I imagine. And there was a law firm, there was 2 other people who were in the same boat as me, and we all kind of talked to each other and decided that, hey, this is probably not the best idea. The next place I worked for, I was never paid at this place, was near a DMV in Houston. And the way I would put it is, from what I studied for like a day, I was there for 2 days, I think an interview day and then a regular work day. It was not what I would want in a business model. It's not that it's a bad business for them, but I felt like, so patents is very interesting. People are happiest at the patent thing when they have an invention or they have an idea. they're willing to spend a lot of money because it's like getting married. It's like a wedding. Weddings, the margins are huge. You know, the margins are much higher than a regular event because they know that people will spend money, and they will spend money like crazy. Same thing with patents. I had the experience working my third year of law school at a bankruptcy place, and I could understand that, hey, the divorce, so the wedding is where people spend any insane amounts of money on very silly things, in my opinion. Maybe it's not silly to other people, but in terms of the margins, things have massive margins, and the profits are incredibly high for wedding vendors compared to normal times, right? So if someone called in and said, I have a wedding, guess what? You just increased everything by 25%. If you called in and said, oh, my grandmother's having a birthday party, all right, we'll give you regular prices. So that's the same way with patents. I know what they had. They had a paralegal, and he would give a PowerPoint presentation for 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and then he would charge $350. Now, the PowerPoint presentation could have been, doesn't, in my opinion, need to be given. It was a sales pitch. So these quote clients were paying $350 to hear a sales pitch on why they should get patents with this law firm, and I was like, okay, people were paying for that. So I left. I left the same day, my first day, and you know they made me sign contracts and NDAs and all these things about you know the client. I mean, they actually had me working on a real client at the time. Like it was my first day. It wasn't like they babied me. No, they gave me like a real client to work on. The point I'm trying to make is that I didn't want to be associated with that at all. Many of these smaller law firms, patent law firms, at least the ones, so again, this is my experience. I don't want to put you know that experience on every small law firm, but in my experience, their margins are too high. Their margins are too high. The way that they're operating, for instance, this patent law firm had, you know, like most times when you get a patent, you would print out the first page or that you got the patent, and that would be really nice, and then you could put it on your wall to see how many patents you have. My dad never did that. He has over 60, I think he's done a few hundred, and he himself holds 65 patents for his company, and he doesn't have any of this because he's an accomplished patent attorney. But when you're not as accomplished, then you actually print out every single page. So a patent application or a patent can have maybe 100 pages. This law firm printed out all 100 pages to make it seem like that they've done thousands and hundreds of thousands of cases when in fact maybe it's just one case that's 100,000 pages, right? So you expect that you're actually going to be able to help inventors. A large majority of inventors don't have the money. So a very small percentage of inventors that you will meet will actually have money. And then it's very, very bloody. When I mean bloody, I mean it's go for the throat sales. And that's what I didn't expect. The reality of patents is it's a time of a business. The majority of people who call me on LinkedIn, I really do not want you guys to call me on LinkedIn about your invention that you have no revenue. I've talked to probably 40 people in 2018 about this. They call me and they say they have a great invention and they can't tell me exactly what it is. It's very vague. First question I ask, does it make revenue? The answer is no. I've never had anyone say that their invention actually makes revenue. Then I try to give them some good advice. Now, I used to talk to them for hours and hours about their invention. Now I just very quickly disconnect, say, oh, well, you should find someone more local to you. I can't really help you. So the expectation of a patent attorney is that everyone there is going to pay you, which is absolutely not true. The majority of people are not going to pay you for your time. Keep that in mind. Not majority. For me, 100% of people call and they just want free advice. They're fishing for advice. Number two, that when you do find someone who can pay you, a lot of people just zap all the blood out of them and there's no business model. In my opinion, it is unethical, and this is again my opinion, to accept a client where I don't believe they have a business model. I don't believe they can make money. There was someone who called and he was a student. He was making some type of chemical compound and working with a university. And I quickly understood what the problem was. The problem was the university, because that university is going to want that patent. If it actually was what he was saying it was. So the expectation of a patent attorney is you help all these small businesses and inventors, but the reality is the majority of people just want to waste your time. And secondly, even the people who have the money and have the design, have the business model in place, they're not going to, they're still looking for free information. And for the most part, if they truly believed in it, they would have some way to bring revenue and show you that it's actually generating income. And that's the downfall of the majority of inventors, in my opinion, is they're not making any money, yet they want to spend $10,000, $20,000 pursuing a patent. It makes no sense. Anyway, hi guys.